Ratchet and Clank going Commando walkthrough. This will be Planet Yeedil once we finally actually land on Planet Yeedil, and it's kind of a fun name to say, Yeedil. Anyway, so this will be the final planet, and as a result, there are only 3 more videos until the walkthrough and the game are both finished. And this was a pretty good game. I think it was my favorite of the original 3 Ratchet and Clanks, and I've said that before, but I don't know, this game it improved on everything in the first one. It didn't pull down any aspect of the first game. It added on top of everything. It was pretty much better in every single way. The third game, I'll complain about that a tiny bit in the walkthrough that I'm making that is upcoming after this one, obviously. And the third one just sort of seemed to, I don't know, it just felt like they weren't trying that much. And it's weird because the third one, I think, has a higher critic score than the second one does, but I don't know. There's a lot of games that critics like Gone Home, which I absolutely despise, like Gone Home, and that's because I like value for my money, and Gone Home has 0 value. Anyway, so we need to use the Hypnomatic to take control of this robot, and we'll have to take control of this other robot, and we'll be playing as the robots for most of this level, actually. So for this part, we'll want to get rid of all those guys and take control of this other robot. And again, you can rush on through if you really need to, if you're having a hard time defeating some of the enemies. You can usually just rush straight through and push the buttons and switch to the robots that you need, but if you die as this robot, I think you go back to the last checkpoint, which will probably be close to your ship. So take care of some of these enemies, and of course if you do take care of a lot of them, then it's going to be less enemies for Ratchet to deal with when he finally has to walk through this part of the map. And luckily they don't actually throw too many enemies at you to begin with, but you know, they have those boxes that are ready to burst, and you get really close and then they burst and then they just die. I mean, I don't know what happened there, it's like they committed suicide. So then there's going to be one major part of the robot playthrough here. Then there's going to be a few more of these kind of soldiers that we haven't run into for a while, and remember, you are timed as this robot, so try to be pretty quick with it. And then a bunch of those swing shot points are going to open up. Now I believe even if you die at this point, those swing shot points will still be there. I don't think I died though, so I'm not entirely sure. Then you'll want to swing on over with Ratchet, and you can open up this, and there's going to be another one we'll have to open up after we break open that box. Be sure to kill them as quick as you can so they don't have a chance to respawn their buddies, and then pretty much every single gate is down. There's going to be 2 tanks we'll have to deal with, so the rockets will be the best option that you can do here, and try to avoid taking damage. I don't know, it's kind of hectic a little bit here, and it's going to get even worse later on, so, and it's not that big of a deal if you do though. I mean, we should have a lot of nanotech by this point, and we should have at least the second best armor by this point. And I have almost enough bolts to buy the best armor, which I will be buying before the final boss fight, but you don't actually really need it in the final boss fight. You really need it in the levels before that, so it's kind of weird that I bought it. Anyway, I'm just going to look around now and going to see if there's anything that I can collect as Ratchet, but it doesn't really seem like there is. So then we're going to go back to where we were, which is where those tanks were, and we're just going to go and use the Hypnomatic on another robot, I think. Well, we'll be using it on another robot in a second. First, we have to jump up here. We get a checkpoint, so that's nice, and there's going to be some tanks that are going to come out, so you'll want to take care of them somehow. I'm going to use this rocket launcher again, and I went through that ammo pretty quickly. That kind of surprised me. And I just switched on over back to the HK gun, which is pretty much just another rocket once it's upgraded, and it's kind of nice that it can do triple damage against one big enemy when you fire enough bullets at it. But these tanks are still pretty darn tough, so yeah. Anyway, once those tanks are down, this platform should pop up, and I went and got ammo so I could take care of these guys a little bit easier. I still think even these guys take 2 hits from the not upgraded rocket to die, and it's weird, the rocket, I don't think I upgraded at any point in this game. Maybe I did before the end and I just don't remember it, but this almost happened in the third game. I didn't upgrade the rocket fully, and when I finally did, it was overpowered as all heck, and it was actually awesome. So I wonder why I didn't bother to do that in this one, but the thing is, the rocket takes a while to upgrade too, and it does a lot of damage, but they want you to kill a lot of things for it first. Anyway, I went on and switched to the bouncer, because the bouncer ended up becoming one of my favorite weapons, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it blows up and sends all these little mines in all directions, and it's pretty good for taking out enemies that are hiding behind places you can't quite get to. So with all these other soldiers that are kind of around, again, the best way to deal with them is just to strafe back and forth and try to take them out as quick as you can. Luckily, they're not endlessly respawning in this level, but they will be in the next one. At least as far as I know, they're endlessly respawning in the next one. And that's just extremely aggravating. So anyway, switch on back over to the Hypnomatic, and we'll want to activate one of these robots. Now you'll notice there's a bunch of these other robots laying around, and I actually shot a few in stupidity, but it ended up not really being a big difference, or it ended up not making a big difference here. So you need to kill waves and waves and waves of these soldiers and little guys that'll be coming out. And you'll need to switch to those robots at the beginning if you end up running out of time. So when you're about 5 seconds short, go find another robot, switch to it, that'll give you another 30 seconds, and don't blow them all up like I did, but it shouldn't really matter. I think you only need about 3 to do this, and you should have way more than enough time to actually defeat everybody. Now these guys, again, can be kind of weird. I mean, I think your bullets will just stop being bullets after a certain amount of time, so you will need to be a little bit close to these soldiers, but as long as you strafe and avoid a lot of their damage, they really aren't too difficult. Now, of course, they will just warp in for some annoying reason, and it is possible that the robots just respawn there at the beginning anyway, so I don't know, maybe it makes no difference if you destroy them. Eventually, this gate should open up, and if you're low on time, or if you have some time left, it might be easier just to rush forward and push that button, because these guys are just going to keep spawning, and it's just really aggravating. And then once that happens, you'll see that door will open up, so all we have to do is walk into it, and that'll be it for this level.